Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and our
Infinity Stones rewatch
weapon series has looked at Iron Man's booby-trapped gauntlet, Thor's possible reforged Mjolnir, Cap's new proto-adamantium shield, Fortnite approved, and Tony's barf brain. But we have been avoiding perhaps the most mysterious weapon that had the most limited screen time in the MCU, Thanos' double-edged sword in Avengers Endgame. A weapon wielded by a weapon with those two gun shows. A piece we know so little about, it doesn't even have a name. Just double-edged sword. We gotta name this baby. The Homewrecker. New Balance? Jedi. Ever since Endgame came out, I've probably gotten more questions about Thanos' sword than most of the other elements in the film. What is it made of? Why didn't they have it before? How does it rank in the strength compared to the other weapons? Where did it come from? Where does it go? Where does it come from, Joe Russo? After watching Jedi carefully, I think I uncovered some major details about how this sword works exactly, and what that could mean in terms for the MCU's future, titles like Loki, Doctor Strange 2, or Thor. Let's start with the sword's composition. The sword hacks off pieces of Captain America's shield, telling us that this sword must be made of something stronger than vibranium. Some fan theories out there have speculated the sword could be made of adamantium, but the filmmakers have confirmed that Thanos got this sword from Eitri. In an interview with comicbook.com, Joe Russo suggested that Thanos had the sword forged in the same process in which Eitri forged the gauntlet for Thanos. Nidavellir uses the metal Uru for its weapons. Uru is what Mjolnir is forged from and what Stormbreaker was forged from, so it would imply that Thanos' sword is made of Uru, a substance stronger than the vibranium of Cap's shield, which would mean, yes, if Thor wanted to chop the shield into pieces with Stormbreaker, he probably could have, but the reason Mjolnir didn't break that shield, presumably, is that Mjolnir just wasn't sharpened. But the sword being made out of a strong otherworldly metal isn't the most interesting thing about this. Beyond its rigidity, Uru has mystical qualities. It can be encoded with magical spells, like Odin's worthiness charm on Mjolnir, or Stormbreaker possessing the power of the Bifrost. Mjolnir and Stormbreaker summon back to their wielders as if they contain a divine intelligence connecting them to their possessor's minds, similar to Doctor Strange's Cloak of Levitation or Yondu's Yaka Arrow. Now again, we don't see much of Thanos' Janae, but this magical component is visible at least twice if you're watching closely. In one instance, Thanos flings the sword at Thor, Thor slides underneath it, and then a super quick shot shows the sword curving like a boomerang and then returning back to Thanos' hand. Now this wasn't Australian physics here. That's a heavy blade. Thanos summoned it with his mind back to his hand, the same way Thor and Cap have done with the Uru Mjolnir. Now the second component is one many of you noticed. Thor uses lightning to supercharge Iron Man's armor, blasting Thanos, who then blocks it by spinning the sword, which, yeah, the filmmakers did acknowledge was a loose reference to the goofy Thanos copter from the comics. But then, some more eagle-eyed fans messaged me pointing out that Thanos doesn't actually spin the blade with his hand. His purple sausage fingers stay put while the blade on its own rotates instinctively to protect Thanos. It's hard to see, but the base of each blade is curved and hooked over a separate hilt piece, rotating counterclockwise over empty space briefly until they rejoin with the hilt piece on the other side. How does it stay greased up while not constantly drifting into a spin like a fidget spinner? Magic! We know it's magic because Thanos doesn't make any physical gesture to start this spin. He has no time to react. The blade must be an intuitive extension of the wielder's mind. So why is this important? Well, before we continue, thanks to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video. Every can of Bang is 16 ounces. It contains 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's sugar-free and it has 0 calories. Yet, it tastes great. With over 20 different flavors to choose from, one of those great flavors is Bangsterberry. Tastes like every berry you've ever bitten into, but bang flavored. A bang that'll wake you up and start playing 4D chess with every weapon in the MCU. Check out Bang on Instagram. You can get 25% off your order at bang-energy.com when you use the code NewRockstars25. There you can buy cans of Bang Energy, including their sweet tea and keto coffee flavors. You can also get clothing, fitness supplements, all kinds of stuff to be your best Bang self. And thanks again to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video. Get 25% off at bang-energy.com using the code NewRockstars25. Okay, the fact that Thanos' magic Uru sword functions with telekinetic summoning abilities actually reframes its later moments in the battle. So when Thanos faces Wanda Maximoff, her mystical powers splinter and break that blade. A reminder that her magic comes from a mystical cosmic place, and she was applying her own kind of hex to counteract whatever charm Thanos has on it in this moment. And then later, when Captain Marvel drives the Iron Gauntlet and Infinity Stones toward the open quantum tunnel in Scott Lang's van, Thanos chucks his broken sword into that quantum tunnel and blows it up. This moment has always been curious to me, because what would have happened if the Avengers were successful in getting the stones to the tunnel? What then? Like, the plan at this point was to return the stones back to their original points in history, but that time travel would have required Pym particles and all the quantum technology that they were using during the time heist. Captain Marvel didn't have any of that, and even if she did, how would she know where to go? She didn't join them on the time heist. She wasn't there for the brainstorming sessions. She would have no idea where and when to return them. It's almost as if the climactic task of the biggest movie of all time was kind of poorly plotted out and was really just about getting toys from A to B so they can boom off each other. What am I saying? Of course this was all intentional. Because while Captain Marvel might have been flying blind, this Mad Titan was quite familiar with time travel and with quantum tech, since the filmmakers revealed that he reverse engineered the Pym particles in order to time travel from 2014 to the present. Thanos knew exactly what he was doing and exactly what this was in the van. And instead of throwing his broken sword at Carol, he instead throws it into the quantum tunnel. When he winds up, that broken side of the blade catches the light in this interesting way. Like, the whole thing is coated in dust and soot, but the top part of that blade and a few surfaces on the lower engravings all illuminate. So I don't think this is just good aim. Thanos is once again applying his mental magical connection to this weapon to guide it, and it wedges in the machinery, it sparks up, and then kablooey! Were you looking for that? The joke's gotta evolve. A flash of white fills the screen as the tunnel explodes, blinding us with a shockwave of quantum energy, and we never see the blast crater, the debris of the van or the tunnel, or Thanos' sword ever again. And forgive me for sliding into tinfoil mode here, but what if that quantum blast transported Thanos' weapon chaotically through a quantum wormhole? Look, Pym particles are keys that give access to the quantum realm, with Tony Stark's wrist tech allowing controlled navigation of it. But as we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp, when this tech malfunctions, all bets are off and all kinds of quantum chaos is suddenly possible. So theoretically, we could now have a deadly blade zipping through time, but not just any blade, a blade still mentally linked to Thanos. And as we learned with Mjolnir during this battle, even when Uru weapons are outside of their home timelines, whatever spells they were encoded with remain constant. And so during his final moments with Thor, with Cap, Captain Marvel, Tony, Thanos could have been, in his mind, guiding old broken Jenna back through time for one final kill. A kind of post-credit f you to one of these unruly a-holes in another timeline. Upcoming MCU titles like Loki, Doctor Strange 2, Thor could all be based in or around alternate timelines. And as we watch those, let's remember that great Rick and Morty Gravity Falls portal crossover Easter egg with missing objects from one moment in one series going into a portal and then popping out on the other side of another series. And somewhere in an upcoming MCU Phase 4 event, a portal could open and some poor soul on the other side could find themselves suddenly impaled with Jenna? Join the discussion on our official Discord by becoming a patron at patreon.com/newrockstars. Follow me on Instagram at Erik Voss. Follow New Rockstars on socials and subscribe to this channel, because who knows, Thanos' sword could surf the multiverse all the way to the Sam Raimi Spider-Verse movies, and we all know how they feel about broken portals.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!